People love the CS2 markets because they are crazy, and throughout the history of Counter-Strike, there's been items and sections of the market just having huge upward movement, huge downward movement. You know, people have been able to beat market-beating returns. Investing has been more interesting and more crazy, more chaotic, and more volatile than stocks or even crypto sometimes and stuff like that. But one big critique of 2024 in general in the Counter-Strike community is not only the lack of updates and the lack of changes that people actually want being made to Counter-Strike, but also the markets in general have been very boring and very stale because there's no new content, no new items, no things going up and down. There's no operations. There's no reason for the market to be fluctuating. Stuff has been pretty stagnant. Stuff has been pretty flat. And that's been pretty boring. It's been pretty uninteresting. That's hard for people to make content about and get excited about and talk about and whatever. But there is actually one sector of the market that I want to cover in this video today that has been going quite crazy and people have actually been making a lot of money with. So that's what I want to talk about today. But of course, first, I want to mention real quick my cash trading business. If you're looking to sell any of your CS2 items, turn them into cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment method, you should definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. Buying pretty much anything and everything for the right price. You guys can see here I bought all different kinds of stuff lately: some stickers, some guns, some knives, some agents, some patches, some gloves, anything, whatever. If you need money for IRL stuff or just to switch up your portfolio or inventory or whatever, definitely hit me up. And you're helping support me, my channel, my content, which is awesome as well. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. What we're talking today is, like I said, agents. Now, I was on Price Empire messing around, and I like to do this from time to time, trying to find out what sections of the market or what items are hot or flying under the radar or whatever, just, you know, to make content and videos, but also just for my own personal desires. I think the Counter-Strike markets are very interesting. I love seeing what's hot. I love seeing what's trending, and I bumped up the liquidity a little bit to filter out some of the items that don't get traded very often. I filtered the price up to $1 to filter out some like the 3-cent items and stuff like that, and you'll actually see I sorted this by the past 30 days, the biggest movers in the market over the past 30 days, and 4 of them in this random kind of metrics that I use to filter, 4 of them were agents. And as you continue to scroll down, you'll see a 5th agent and a 6th agent on the first page. A meaningful amount of agents have been going very, very crazy over the past month, and it's seemingly kind of some random agents, you know, Slingshot Phoenix, Soldier Phoenix, B Squadron Officer, Enforcer Phoenix, up 200%, 195%, 177%, 147%, whatever. This is crazy. Now, I've even been looking at some other stuff, and agents have been going crazy for quite some time. I've been talking about agents for so long. I feel like close to over a year now. I've been talking about agents and what a good investment they could be. Now, there's a couple potential downsides. Obviously, the one main thing that people have to say against agents is that they're not consumable, so the amount of agents is always going to be out there. But the other thing is the agents' supply is not being added to, so we are probably actually losing some agents over time just due to, you know, accounts getting banned or accounts going inactive or whatever. But there's no new agents being created, and if the player base does grow over time, then theoretically there are actually, you know, less agents per player out there. So that actually is good for agents over time, even though they're not consumable. Obviously, if they were consumable, the numbers would be getting eaten into so fast. But agents have been going quite well. Now, of course, the other thing is people have kind of been expecting an operation for quite some time, but the longer an operation doesn't come out, the more these agent prices are going to continue to rise because there's just no competition out there. Again, the player base has increased during 2024. It is trending upward. And yeah, there's no new agents coming in to compete with these old agents or to fulfill the needs of the, you know, growing player base and everything. And it seems like agents are kind of becoming more normalized and more popular over time. I know there was, when agents first came out, people thought they were stupid or they ruined the game or they clutter the screen or they look ridiculous or they're uncompetitive, blah, blah, blah. But over time, that noise is kind of being quieted and people actually kind of like agents. You know, you have stuff like Miami Daryl and a Number K, and also people, you know, matching up agents and gloves and knife combos and all that stuff. Agents are becoming more normalized and more popular. But yeah, over the past 6 months, this is D Squadron Officer NZSAS up 112% in the past 6 months. I don't know what stuff looks like over the past year. This is 252% gains in the past year. I mean, this stuff is just absolutely insane. Obviously, we've seen some really, really good gains at the top end of the market, but now even kind of lower down in the market, some of these cheaper options, like we see here, the B Squadron Officer SAS is a $15 agent, which isn't like cheap, but it's not Miami Daryl at $100 or the last agent at $60 or whatever. This thing's up 142% in the past month. We have something like Dragomir Saber. Again, this is what we just looked at, one of the top movers, up 41% in the past month. Now, obviously, these moves start to look a little bit ridiculous, but What this does remind me a little bit of is the move that we saw in patches a couple months ago. Again, there was so much upward movement in patches, stuff like Bayonet Frog and Deadman patch. They were just going crazy up and up and up forever. And then eventually those gains started to trickle down to the mid tier and to the lower tier patches. Then at some point, all the Riptide patches became really, really expensive and started going up crazy. And a lot of people say, hey, maybe this is manipulation, or hey, this is just a pump and dump and it's all going to come back down. But we've definitely seen those patch prices come back down a little bit, but they've never returned back to the previous prices. Now, again, with agents going up, we start to see the Miami Darryls going to $100, Getaway Sally going to $100, some of the mid-tier agents getting to $50, $60. Eventually, those gains start to trickle down. We haven't gotten any new patches to replace that demand or to make the prices reset. We haven't gotten any new agents to do that either. So eventually the prices and the gains start to trickle down to that medium and lower tier, where people start to find the cool and interesting mid and lower tier options. And then also the price floor just continues to go up as the demand increases, the player base increases, for a million different reasons. And I think that is what we're starting to see a little bit. Now, could some of this be a little bit of manipulation? Could some of this be a little bit of pump and dump or over exuberation or whatever? Yeah, it's possible, because it doesn't really take that much money to, manipulate a $4 agent and his prices. It's just a couple of sales. It'd just be like a couple $100 or maybe like $1,000 or whatever, and you can really move the markets crazy. But I do think that we have seen, again, some really organic demand and gains with agents for a long time. This agent, Dragomir Saber, up 163% in the past year. Slingshot Phoenix, this graph is insane, up 153% in the past month. We take a look, zoom out, 229% gains in the past year. This Soldier Phoenix, again, another cheaper option, $3.69, up 143% in the past year. Again, this one had been very, very, very stable until this most recent price spike. So this one kind of looks the most unnatural and weird. We also have the Enforcer Phoenix, where you can kind of see the downside of this. Some of these agents, they go a little too crazy. This guy went from 243 up to 497. Now he's kind of coming back down. But even with this major drop off, he's still up 32% in the past month. So with some of these agents, is there maybe some manipulation or just some weirdness going on? Is some of their supply so low that, things can be very, very volatile and go up and down? Yeah, sure. And I would definitely be careful. But if you are somebody out there who doesn't believe that an operation is coming soon, that believes we're going to have to wait for an operation again, it's already August, and we do have the Shanghai Major coming in like December. That means we're going to have qualifiers coming in November. Like, we're already very, very close to all that. If you don't think an operation is coming till like 2025 or maybe even later or whatever, then agents are definitely a good pickup and definitely a good investment and definitely a way that you can potentially make some money, because as long as this operation doesn't come out and the longer this takes, the more these prices are going to go up. And sure, once a new operation does come out, these prices are probably going to reset and they're probably going to bump down. But until then, prices are going to keep going up. And just because prices are going to drop, that doesn't mean they're going to drop below the prices that we're seeing today. You could be waiting for this drop, waiting for this drop, waiting for this drop. And in the meantime, you're missing out on 10, 20, 50, 100% gains. And then when the operation comes out, these things drop 20% or 30% or whatever. And you still end up buying them at a higher price than you could have bought right now and still got some of those gains as well. So even if you do think an operation is coming out, obviously nobody knows when that's going to be. So if you do believe in agents, if you think agents are a worthwhile investment or whatever, if you see some agent that you think is undervalued or underrated or whatever, you should definitely pick it up, because agents have just been so consistent. They've been absolutely killing and dominating the market over the past year. Again, 2024 has largely been a stagnant and uninteresting year, but agents have been killing it. Even some of the higher end, I know I said, hey, look, all these lower tier agents, they've been going crazy, but even the higher tier stuff, like Sir Bloody Miami Darryl, he's up 19% in the past month. Again, in a stagnant market, that is awesome. That is crazy. That is gains you'd love to have. And in the past year, he's up 58%. Again, that is market-beating returns. You're not going to find 58% returns in the stock market or in crypto or whatever, unless it's some kind of like shit coin or a crazy year for Bitcoin or whatever. But, people are trying to get 10, 11, 12% returns on their money. And some of the best agents have just been killing that. Getaway Sally, another agent high up in the market, up 6% in the past month. That's a great month. That's a month that anyone would take. And she's up 147% in the past year. So we're seeing all kinds of agents just going crazy. The high tier, the low tier, the mid tier, again, here's a $60 agent with D Squadron Officer. So agents have just been going absolutely crazy. Even though the market's been boring and stagnant and uninteresting and sideways and stuff's been down, blah, 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 agents have been the one shining beacon in this whole thing. Agents have been going crazy. And again, like I said, until we get an operation, which who knows when that'll be, I don't think this is slowing down anytime soon. I think agents are going to keep going up. And I wish I had bought more. I wish I had listened to myself and believed my intuition a little bit more. But I do think agents are a good hold for the long term. And even if we do see some kind of drop during an operation, I still think that these would be nice holds long term. I don't think that should be a time to panic or sell out or anything like that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, agents have been going pretty crazy lately. But yeah, pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.